Hey everybody, it's Steve with Sky194, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to stop and visit and check out my video. And we're here at Hungaroring, and this is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to do a setup for Hungaroring and for Spa in this video, so it will be a little bit longer. I had a request for that, so I just figured instead of making two separate videos, we'll just make it one. But first, before we get started, I just want to remind everybody that my giveaway contest is coming out. Well, contest, just giveaway, whatever you want to call it, is coming out this week. And basically, the video will be just me. It won't be racing related, so you'll know the videos. It'll be different. And basically, all you got to do is comment on that video, anything, say hello, yes, whatever, and you're entered in the drawing. And basically, I will have that open for the day, the day it comes out, and into the next day, and then I'll close it off, and then I'll probably the middle of next week sometime in the middle of the next week I will announce the winner, and I'll put it on the comment on that video, and then that's it. Then it's in charge of that person to come out and get a hold of me and give me their address and everything so I can send it to them. So that will be how that works. I sure hope you entered. You probably have a good chance of winning, better than at least other places, since we're a small little channel. And I would really appreciate any help for that. If we could, I'd love to grow some more. And anybody that can share with your community, share with your league. Anybody, let anybody else know about it. I would really appreciate it. And again, thank you for all the support, whether it's PayPal or a like or subscribing. Thank you. That's all different kinds of support, and I appreciate all of it. And so let's get started with this video. We're into Lexus, and again, like I said, I had a couple requests for Hungaroring and Spa, so I started working on it, and I spent a lot of time working on this car. Probably the most I've ever done in forever. It's just a different animal, and it's the credit to ACC. Everything is unique, but again, this car is completely different than all the other front engine cars. Things that it's a love-hate thing. Things I love, things I hate. The back end, it feels disconnected from the front. The front feels good, but the back end just feels like it's on its own. It's got its own brain and wants to do its own thing. And you're trying to get it to cooperate so it becomes a balanced package, and it's very hard to get it to do that. So I almost feel like I won a race because I really got a really good, the best I could get balanced package for this car after many laps and trying to get this thing to do what I would like it to do. Again, what it likes to be driven. It doesn't really like trail braking either. I mean, you can brake late as long as you're going straight, but it does not want to brake and turn at the same time. It just doesn't. It doesn't like it. Either the front end wants to plow or the rear end wants to lock up and just slide. So again, it's one of those things. So you got to be very basic and very gentle with the brake bias. You can't get overly aggressive. It's better at turning, stopping, turning, and firing off the turn. That's what it's best at. So again, that's just things that I like to put out there so everybody kind of knows. So we're going to do a little about the opposite this time. We're going to be outside the car on this lap, and then because I wanted to show you something, and then on the last lap we'll jump inside the car. Beautiful car, sounds great. Just different things. Just different things that you love and hate. That's all. See, my fast lap was a 145.13. Now coming up here to this turn, right there, see I was out a little bit. That's how much I was out. So this lap was really not a legal lap, even though it didn't penalize me. It just said, I didn't gain anything because I actually wasn't ahead of my Delta until then. I was actually like about right even with it. But then I started getting ahead of my Delta from there on. So call it what you will. See how it goes over the bumps. Pretty good. Again, brake straight, turn, fire it off, straighten it out as quick as you can. Be very careful through this turn as you're turning and braking a little bit. So you want to kind of brake a little early and just get off the brake and let it roll through there. That's the best way to handle that, or you'll get the car back end coming around. Let's look at this. That was a 144.91. You see speed's about 154 down the straightaway. That's pretty good. So let's jump to the last lap. You see that was a 145.41. And that's another thing, you know, when I was driving the aggressive, it's hard to be consistent. Really hard to be consistent. And even, you know, this is the most consistent I could get it to be, really, even, you know, to be quick and consistent. Handles the bumps really well. You know, for what it is, I think it's pretty good. Started with 50 liters. That's usually what it probably wouldn't even take that much to do, you know, a race like an LFM. I did do some with 80 liters, so it still felt fine. Just slows it down a little bit because of the weight of the fuel. Yeah, again, try to open it up as quick, and right here, brake, get off, and let it go through the turn. That's probably about as long as you can hold the brake, and even then you can be easing off of it. But it's nice and smooth going through there. And that was the last lap. That was 145.03. So again, you know, really close to the 44.91. So again, and then I had a 45.13, and that's the most consistent I've been with this car. Period. So I sure hope you like that, and we will go to the back to the garage and go check it out. So basically, we got 25.3 left front, 25.8 left rear, 26.4 right front, and 26.6 right rear. The toe's negative 0.04 with the camber at negative 3.7 and the caster at 11.1. Toe on the rear is 0.05 with the camber at negative 3.3. Electronics are 3, 5, and 1. And again, this TC is pretty critical. You can go to 4. It might slow it down a teeny bit, but if you were in a longer race, I would probably go ahead and go to 4. It would help out with trying to save on your tires. And that's another thing. It wants to wear the front tires way faster than the rears. And so you're really... you know, you don't really need to conserve the rears because usually it'd be better if they were wearing more even, but you just can't get it to do it that way and be comfortable. So if you really probably, you know, even 2 or 3 is probably okay in TC, and if you burn the tires up in the back a little bit, well, that's okay. If you don't mind driving it and having to wrestle the car a little bit, it probably wouldn't be bad. Of course, with fuel, that's normal, 50 liters and number 1 brake pad. Mechanical got 7 on the anti-roll bar, 61 on the brake bias. Oh, and by the way, it did have some minor graining, but nothing major. Steering ratio was all the way down. Springs on the front were 134,000 with a bump stop rate of 600 and a bump stop range of 10. And on the rear, the springs were 136,000 with a bump stop rate of 500 and a bump stop range of 35. And again, here at Hungaroring, it likes a softer package. This track doesn't have a lot of grip. It's kind of slick, and it just that way. So you know, if you have a real stiff car, it's just not going to get the grip. So I try to use, you know, Motec to try to maximize what I could get out of it and keep the balance there. And also, it's kind of a double-bladed sword because you want the softer springs to go over some of these bumps, and you're all over the curbs. You know, you're on the curbs every single turn, so it doesn't hurt that either. So it's a win-win situation where a stiffer spring, it would be harder to go over the bumps, upset the car harder, and going over all these curves could upset it. So really, it's better to go that route anyway. The any roll bar is 2, and the preload on the diff is 40. And I messed with this probably more than anything else. I've had this any roll bar everywhere. So again, this has been something that I've been combining with this and the ride height. They both kind of go together. So you're kind of adjusting one and adjusting the other. The preload on the diff is the best. I've seen it at 40. It works really well. I've tried all the way up to 80 or 100, and it's awful. So shocks on the front, it's 14, 4, 15, and 5, and on the rear, it's 9, 3, 13, and 5. So again, I used Motec to try to help dial it in, and I'm sure there's always a few adjustments you could be made, but it's really close. Aero got 55 front, 77 rear with a 12 rear wing and a 5 and a 3 in the brake ducts. And the front aero variation is a negative 1.9. So again, that's more negative than what the aggressive is. But the aggressive, the best I could do, I think I gained 3 or 4 tenths solid. But another thing I gained was consistency. With the aggressive, I was up and down and all over the place. I was just, I'd lose 5, 6 tenths like nothing to it, easy, and then go back and forth. So it was very inconsistent, where this was as consistent as I could get it. So, now it's more of just practice and practice and practice and try to get more consistent with the car. But the package is there to be consistent. So again, I sure hope you like this one. So again, if you want to, of course, there'll be a link for this setup and the spa setup both down in the description with my PayPal link if you want to help support the channel that way. Thank you if you do. And so now let's go ahead and jump to spa. All right, and now we're at spa, and it took me a little while to, again, spent some time trying to find a balance. But of course, after Hungaroring, I had a little bit quicker area to start looking at. And so we're going to jump in the car. So let's get this thing going. Yeah, I kind of messed that lap up. It still wasn't terrible. I just messed that last corner up. And it still was a 220.39, so. When you come to a Rouge, you want to turn as quick as you can in the beginning. It just seems to go better that way. If you turn real in the beginning, try to go right for that curve, and it just seems to work better. Has good speed down the straightaway. It's 164 before I got to get on the brakes. That's pretty good. I said I was out right here, so just out of bounds. But I mean, it was so close. Matter of fact, the next lap, you barely any different. I stay in third going through here, so you can't go second, but I think it does cost a little bit of time. And here's pretty good. I mean, it's got some understeer to it a little bit, but nothing major. But I mean, if again, that's a problem corner. You get too much rotation, it'll loop. I messed that corner up. Yeah, just kind of turned in a little bit too late. You want to turn in just a little early here. That was a 220.02. You see the sparks a little bit, so you really don't want to lower the car in the rear anymore, in the front either. So really, if you do any adjustments, do not lower the car front or rear. It really is as close as it's going to get without upsetting it. See, that was legal, it said, but the other one wasn't much different, just a teeny bit more, I guess. Again, just keep in mind you need to save those front tires, as it definitely burns the front tires off faster than the rears. That was a 219.91. That was my fast lap of that session. I have run into the 219.8 and stuff like that, so it can go a little quicker than that, but that's as quick as I went there. So let's go ahead and go to the garage. I think my fastest is a 219.69 was the fastest in practice. So it can definitely go 70s and 80s. And I was up around high 219s to low 220s pretty much most of the time. Setup, we got 25.8 for the front tires and 26.2 for the rear tires. Toes negative 0.04 with the camber at negative 3.7 and the caster at 11.5. The toe on the rear is 0.05 with the camber at negative 3.3. Electronics are 2, 5, and 1. So again, you can go to 3 or 4, either way you want it, to save if you want to, but I'm trying to actually wear the rear tires more because they need to catch up to the fronts. So you might want to consider not going any lower on the ABS, maybe even go up to 6, again, you're trying to save the front tires and trying to increase wear on the rear tires because, you really want to have them wear as close as they can together. Otherwise, you start getting the crazy, understeers and all kinds of stuff. So that's exactly what I try to do, but just you got limitations. Of course, you got I had 50 liters, basically what you start off with in the LFM league and stuff like that. But I did set it up in the beginning with 80, so I did a lot of laps with 80 liters, so it's fine there too. Any roll bar is 7, brake bias is 61, steering ratio is all the way down. Springs on the front are 154,000 with a 800 bump stop rate and a 6 bump stop range. And on the rear, the springs 136,000 with a 600 bump stop rate and a 20 bump stop range. Anti-roll bar is 3 and the preload on the diff is 40. Shocks are 14, 4, 19, and 6 on the front, and on the rear, they're 12, 4, 19, and 5. That should be 17. 17 and 5. All right. So, aero, we have, let's see what we got. We got 55 in the front, 76 in the rear, with a 10 rear wing and a 4 and a 3 in the brake ducts. and the front aero variation is a negative 1.3. So again, on the aggressive, it had an 8 rear wing, and the ride height was a 58. So it was actually higher in the front. So speed-wise, I'm doing the same or more. I think it would. No, it didn't do any more than 164. It might have been 163. So I'm doing as much speed or more than the aggressive setup is. So the different, it had a little bit less wing, but it had a lot more frontal area. It was up higher off the ground. So again, I sure hope you enjoyed the video with the setups. And if you try them, any feedback, comments is great. And I sure hope we can get some more subscribers. And I would appreciate it, all that support. And I sure hope that you come back and visit again really soon. Y'all take care. See ya.